All right, what's up, everybody? I wanted to give you a quick end of the week update about what happened in the Eleventy-verse this week. Straight out of the gate on Monday, we got full-time open source development for Eleventy from Netlify. Posted on Twitter. Video went nuts. Basically wasted my entire Monday. But it was great. Then the next day, lovely request came in from Jeff Posnick talking about recommended performance improvement in Eleventy core that would help speed up web.dev. So we're looking for some performance improvements. We went through that back and forth, got it merged, about a 28% improvement in the build time there. So if you're using a lot of data cascade stuff, a lot of computed data, you should see an improvement, a performance improvement there in 1.0.1. We made some improvements to the Eleventy benchmark, which basically is like it runs a sample project to test speed regressions across different versions of Eleventy, just so we know if we're introducing performance regressions. We need to add more features to that. Right now, the project can run a ton of files, but it's pretty uniform. It's pretty vanilla. There's not much to it. So more work there. I also put out a call for anyone that wanted to add their large Eleventy project into a group that we can performance test real projects to make sure that we're not introducing feature regressions or performance regressions. So if you have a large, I want to say 1,500, 2,000 plus page project, go ahead and leave it on this issue, number 2220. I had an interesting question come in about the Eleventy.before event. It actually is called after some of the Eleventy initialization code runs. And so if you want to read more about that, you can check out issue 2207. It's open right now. I think we might end up adding another event that runs at the very beginning before any data cascade work happens, or any configuration work as well. So yeah, check out that issue if you're using that event and you're seeing some timing issues with it. We had a good PR come in that actually reduced our quick start from 3 commands to 2 commands. We're using npx here instead of a global Eleventy install. And I think that will help with a lot of beginner issues, because I'm seeing a lot of education issues around having a global version versus a local project version, and npx tidies that up a little bit. We had a PR fix come in. We got it merged. It'll ship with 1.0.1. That used global data to drive a layout. So if you're using a global data file to set your layout property across your entire project, or if you're using add global data to set a layout, a default layout for your entire project, it didn't quite work the way you might think. So look for that to be improved. We had some error messaging improvements around errors that come inside of transforms and plugins. So we did some cleanup work there. You should see some better error messaging output in those conditions. We also had an interesting issue come in on the Learn with Jason video podcast this week. Video cast? I don't know what it is. Anyway, when you have encoded URL paths, encoded characters in your URL path in your serverless function, you might get some Eleventy serverless 404 errors to come back. And we're going to ship a nice workaround for that in 1.0.1. But we don't actually overwrite any existing serverless functions that that you may have modified yourself. So you will need to check out this code to backport that fix to any existing serverless functions that you have. Or if you haven't made any modifications to the serverless index files, you can just delete them, and we'll regenerate them in 11.1.0.1 with the updated workaround. We added a new feature. If you want to set your date, the dates of your content to be driven from git commit timestamps, you can now do that by just setting your date to this string get last modified. We already had last modified and created. Get last modified will help quite a bit when you have ordering and collections and you want it to maintain a consistent order on your local host versus your CI server. So yeah, no more hard coding dates to work around that kind of stuff. Next up, we shipped a Canary this week, 1.01 Canary 3. So if you're looking to try out some of these brand new things, check that out. We also had a pull request come in to ship a feed for the Eleventy documentation. So anytime we make updates to the documentation, you can subscribe to this feed and it will update the feed in your feed reader. So you can kind of see what's happening on the docs and where updates are being made. Ben Myers had a great PR that added an Eleventy specific terminology section to our glossary. I think it's great. It has a lot of really great baseline terms that we use throughout the documentation, and it'll be a great addition for beginners. We did some docs cleanup around our community page, added some links here, and just cleaned up the sidebar a little bit. We had another feature PR come in around the before callback on pagination. They wanted the second parameter to also pass in the current data cascade. So data here would have the paginated data that we're operating on. This second parameter will be the full data cascade up to that point. And that's on the pagination documentation as well. One of the last things we did this week was publish a Eleventy YouTube channel. That's where this video will probably live long term, and a lot of our update videos going forward. We also have some other Eleventy YouTube channels that exist in the wild, and some good Eleventy for beginner tutorials. And then anytime I see a Eleventy video on YouTube, I'll put it into this playlist from the community. And just to look back at the last week, just in terms of issue grooming and PR grooming, we had 3 merge pull requests on Eleventy core and 17 closed issues, and 12 merge pull requests on the website, on the docs website, and 2 closed issues there. And the biggest outstanding thing in my mind right now is the npm audits that are coming back from browsersync when you do a brand new install. I think we're going to have to take some more drastic measures here to maybe even separate browsersync out from the core, or have a nice way of separating it out so we don't have to bundle that when we're doing a production build. Maybe a separate Eleventy build project. I haven't quite decided yet, but this is really at the forefront of my mind right now of what we need to sort of take care of moving forward. And yep, that's it, I think. State of Eleventy, February 18th, 2022.